Hello, I'm Tracy Ann Burgess and welcome to the Change Studio. I created this channel for women who are navigating a big life change or for women who are wanting to bring more change into their lives but unsure how or where to start. This is the fourth episode in a series of 14 videos that I'm doing that all represent 14 change cards, and this one is called How to Overcome Overwhelm by Staying in the Now. In this video, I'll show you when, where, and how to practice being in the now. It's a really restorative process. It's much deeper than it seems, like just spending the time in the now, spending the time in this present moment. It sounds like a really simple thing to do. Boy, is it a powerful practice, and it saved my ass so many times when I was in the middle of a really big life change. This was the one practice that used to save me minute by minute. Sometimes I was only able to go kind of like minute by minute or hour by hour, and this practice really helped me take a break from a really overactive mind and really brought me peace and connectedness. Your main function of your mind is to keep you safe. So the mind's always saying, oh, okay, well, let's get insurance over here and we'll do this, and then let's go and do that there, and then we'll make sure, let's get 3 backup plans. Oh, great. Like for every thought, and then you've got like 3 backup plans in your mind, and before you know it, especially if you are undergoing a lot of change, you're balancing so many thought bubbles. It's just impossible to get any peace, and you can get burnt out, you can get so overwhelmed that in the end you lose sight of the bigger picture. You lose sight of kind of where you're going, and you just start diving into this sort of survival mode. So if we look at the real differences between the active state and the non-active state, or the doing and the being, with the mind state, which is the doing, that's all of your thinking, which also creates all of your habits, your mindsets, and your behaviors. So there's a lot going on the kind of like in this sort of state of mind, if you like. And you're also thinking a lot about the future, which can create an enormous amount of anxiety as you're trying to put one plan ahead of another plan, one strategy ahead of another strategy to try and sort of shore up your life. I mean, I'm not saying this is in your normal everyday state of mind, but I'm saying that sometimes when you are dealing with a lot of change, you're needing to deal with a lot of unknowns, and so you need lots of different contingencies, lots of different plans, and the mind can just go, oh goody, you know, I've got lots and lots of work to do, and it'll throw lots of information at you, and it can be super overwhelming. At the same time, on the other side, the being is not thinking. The being has no mindsets. The being has no past, has no future. Because if you're just being, you're just sitting in the very fresh moment, second by second. You are just sitting in the now. Look, that now's already gone. Like you're just sitting in the very present moment. So there's no room for thought. There's no room for projecting forward. There's no room for habits or mindsets or behaviors. It's just staying in your being. Another thing is, when the mind keeps on thinking, sometimes if you've had a really big life change or something big happened to you, could be in the past, and you could get real attachment to this story of whatever's going on in the past. There could be more than one. Some major stories, and that you may build an identification of yourself out of all of that. That can be a heavy burden, and from that you can start developing other mindsets and behaviors and all that. So if you're spending time just in the now, just in the present moment, there's no room for story. There's no story there. It's just you just being. You may feel emotions there, and you can just observe those, but there is no room for story. So you can just take a holiday, take a break from the mind, take a break from the story and from that kind of identity. That's the other thing. Having an identity built from your story, or have an identity that you're super attached to. If that's really threatened, the mind goes into this sort of overdrive. But actually, when you're in a state of being, which is when you're just sitting in the now, there is no identity. There's kind of like a different you. I mean, it sounds a bit weird, but it's not really. If you just sort of think, do you sometimes observe your thoughts? So if you have ever observed your thoughts, in episode 3, we were looking at how you speak to yourself and how you treat yourself. So you were observing your thoughts there. Well, who's observing the thoughts? Who's the I that's observing the thoughts? That's just you in kind of your being space. So what we're going to talk about today is just how to cut out all of that doing space for a while, give yourself a break, and how to just sit in the now. So the mind is an incredible instrument. It can help you carve out a future. It can help you plan, set your goals, support yourself, get yourself out of trouble. But you need to be really careful about an overactive mind that's actually running you. So this is a beautiful, gentle exercise on how to take a break from the mind and just sit quietly with yourself. How to practice being in the now. Just for this minute, take your attention to your heart. Take your attention to your heart beating. Can you feel your heart beating? See, you're just in the now. That's all it takes. It's just super simple. You just place your attention, just observe a part of your body, observe a sensation, observe a sound. Sometimes I just stand and just look at a leaf. If I'm super stressed and I'm at the traffic lights, I just look at a leaf, I just look at a tree, or I just look at anything, and the mind just stops. Or I'll focus on a sound, or I'll focus on a sensation. So if you wanted to focus on just your breathing, you might be sitting in a doctor's room somewhere. You can do it anywhere. So you could just be sitting waiting for something, or you could be walking. It really doesn't matter. What if you just focused on your breathing? And you can just focus on the sensation of the air coming in and out of your nostrils, and just focus on the sensation and the sound of that air moving, and also the sensation of your chest rising and falling. You can be doing it really just by really simple things. If you're washing something up in the sink, or you're washing your hands, just take your attention. It's just taking your awareness. It's directing your awareness. And then you just direct your awareness to the smell of the soap, the sensation of the soap on your hands, the sensation of the water. It's very, very simple. Just be aware of any thoughts or sensations that come up. Allow the thoughts just to go. Any sensations, any uncomfortableness in the body, any emotions that are in the body, this is the perfect time to just sit with them. Just let them have some space, and don't fight it and don't think about it, and just sit with it. This is the perfect moment for self-connection. This is where you're really connecting underneath all of the thoughts and the striving and the driving and the plotting and the planning and all of that goes on in the mind. So this is what is your underlying feeling at the moment. This is a perfect time to connect with that. And if you feel some sort of discomfort, or if you're feeling joy, or if you're feeling, no matter what you're feeling, after you've spent time in the now, you might want to write some things down. You can then go into an active phase. You might have had some observations about yourself that are really interesting. You might get some insights about yourself. You know, maybe you're just feeling really sad. Maybe you're feeling really mad. Maybe, who knows what you're feeling. But you may find that if you jot down over time, some of these are recurring things that you might not be dealing with on a unconscious level. So really the mind state, so your doing state, is really more often than not quite an unconscious level. There's repetitive patterns of mindsets and repetitive patterns of habits and different things that the mind helps to sort of set up to keep you on autopilot. In the state of being, you're not on autopilot. You're in a conscious mode. So that means you're really in a sort of a heightened state of awareness without doing anything about it. Just being in that being state, being in the now, is a heightened sense of awareness. In this state, you can experience a deeper sense of self-connection. And once you have that reference point, that sense of self-connection, that sense of just sitting in your being, that sense of calmness and centeredness that comes over you, you can choose to be there at any time. So it's kind of like a safety switch sometimes that I use. If I'm feeling a bit stressed, even if I'm getting dressed, my mind will be, blah, 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 where am I going? What am I doing? What am I going to wear? Blah, blah, blah. And then I'll just start to become aware of that. And I'll think, just focus on the fabric. Just focus on the feel of the fabric. And then I'll just start to go more to my body. There's a message. I'll just start to go more to my body. And it'll stop, slow me down, and help me just connect in again, kind of regroup and gather myself together so that I'm not flung into the future and get anxious about what could happen, about all the what ifs of the future. You know, if you're in a state of heightened stress, you can get super anxious about what could possibly eventuate. And so this is just such a really good way of just staying in the now and staying with yourself, centered in your being, not doing. A really great book to read on this topic is a book by Eckhart Tolle called The Power of Now. I read this book many years ago and it was just so brilliant, absolutely saved my ass. He's really terrific. He explains it very simply, he's very concise, it comes from his own experience. Fortunately, I read it years ago when I was going through a huge life flip, and that really, really helped me enormously. I must have slipped into the now several times a day, sometimes for quite long periods, and it was very centering for me and very calming. And one of the things he talks about is a simple practice of just thinking, in the next 2 minutes, is there any threat to me? Is there any danger? Can I just relax in the next 2 minutes? Yes. How about the next 5 minutes? How about the next 10 minutes? Is there any threat or danger coming? No. Okay, what about the next 30 minutes? So if you can kind of clear even just a little bit of time, you set it in your mind first. Yes, there's no danger to me. So then you can use that time and know that you are safe, and you can set the mind at kind of at ease. And like, you know, you can take a break, mate. I'm going to just be sitting here quietly, unattended by you. And you can just sit there and just stay present with yourself. Super powerful stuff. Spending time in the now is like pressing the reset button and the connect button, and it helps to keep you conscious. So I hope you enjoyed this video today. I love this card. It's such a great card. Gee, it's a powerful card. For anyone going through change, this is like, for me, when you're at a critical change point, you're in the middle of a crisis. For me, the Power of Now is the #1 card that I always use. That's why it's part of my First Aid 5 card. As with all the other episodes in this series, they're all based on my Passport Change Kit. And the Passport Change Kit contains 14 cards and a book and a set of videos, and they all help you learn change skills. So as I said, there are 14 change skills. This is number 4, and this card is called the Mighty Now. The Mighty Now is all about practicing being in the now and being in the present moment. So if you like what I'm doing on my channel, please like, comment, or share this video, and subscribe to my channel and click the little bell on the side. That means you'll get notified every time I release a new video. And also I will put a link into the comments for my passport change kit. If you are interested in purchasing a kit, they're very powerful, and you can just click on the link. It'll take you straight to my website, and you'll be able to get a lot more information about what's included in the kit. Next week we're going to be doing my number 5 episode, which is the number 5 card. It's the compassion card. It's a really beautiful, gentle self-care card, but it's deep, like all of my videos. They all start out sort of on the surface and then kind of take a dive, but that's where all the good stuff is. So thanks so much for watching, and I hope to see you next week. Bye for now.